Pardon all Jan Sixers. What are we talking about?
This is my theory. This is my my thesis, and this is the argument I'm presenting. It's going to be a little meandering. Trump just had the most monumental landslide of a victory since Walter Mondale getting his ass handed to him by Reagan, and you'll never see a victory like that ever again.
Ever.
I want to start it off just by needling the so-called election guru, Aaron Derelict Lichtman. I can derelict my own. No,
Yeah,
so
I can derelict my own
we're going
Capitan.
to start this. There is a theme to this. It's going to make sense by the time we get to the end. Oh, well, we were going to. Alberto.
This guy.
So, the so-called guru who got all the elections right since whenever, only because he never counts it when he gets it wrong. Yeah. He got it wrong this election cycle because he said Joe Biden was going to win before Joe Biden withdrew. He has his 13 keys, which we're going to look at in a second. After he was humiliated with a terrible prediction that did not come to fruition, a decisive landslide of a victory, he takes to CNN on his shame tour and says this, and there's a reason why I'm bringing it up. Play this. It's magnificent.
And the keys, because the keys depend upon a rational, pragmatic electorate deciding based on governance whether the incumbent party should get 4 more years. And we've seen the explosion of some trends that have existed before, but not to this extent. Disinformation.
The stupid
disinformation. Elon Musk is, I don't know how many hundreds of billions he has. He has been the director of misinformation. 2 billion views of his spreading of disinformation, not just about the economy, but about immigrants, about minorities. We've never seen disinformation at this scale. Next,
not just dumb,
we have never seen to this scale the agitation of 3 trends that have been very deeply embedded in American history: misogyny, racism, and xenophobia. You know, the first anti-immigrant law was 1798, and Donald Trump wants to revive it.
All right,
so I get it. So he was completely wrong, and he sucks because America's dumb, racist, xenophobic, and men are too manly. Is that what he's basically saying?
That is basically it. He was right. It's just that the electorate is dumb. They were swayed by disinformation. They're racist, misogynist, xenophobes. Set aside the fact that of all the demographics now, more Latinos than ever, more black men than ever voting for Trump. White women voted for Trump. It's a weird thing to do. And all that say, by the way, he then took to Twitter later on to say he's getting harassed, that people are mailing pizzas or delivering pizzas to his door, and he's getting live action harassment. Leave the guy alone, but mock him for an eternity, because it's not just that he was wrong. To then double down and triple down on why he was monumentally wrong and blame it on people's what he purports to be their bigotry is a very, very disgusting way to do this. But bring up his tribe. My whole point was that even by his own 13 keys, he should have been able to predict the victor, except he was blinded by his own TDS. If we can read, whoever's got good eyes.
What is it?
I have them here. So key 1 is midterm gains.
Oh, you could skip to 6, 7, or 8.
6, 7, or 8. Okay, so number 6 is strong long-term economy.
Yeah, strong short-term economy was number 5, which he gave to Kamala.
Yeah.
Strong long-term, he gave to Kamala. Major, forget that. No social unrest, he gave to Kamala. No scandal, he gave to Kamala. So the bottom line is, even by his own 13 keys, it was an easy prediction, or at least he would have had the right prediction. He was lying to himself and to everyone else. And I hypothesized that some of the harassment that he might be getting, even though I don't think he's been getting any, might be coming from the lefties who feel a little duped and a little lied to, misled by his false prophecy. All that to say,
uncharismatic challenger?
Well, he put that to Kamala, right? I think he gave that to Kamala.
I think so.
He was right about the charismatic challenger was to Trump, I think.
Okay.
Second to last?
It's whether it's true or false. This is the way I'm understanding it. And so by him stating that it's true, the blue indicates true and the red indicates false. He's saying
No. I think the red is for Republican.
Okay.
Bottom line, I think he got those two right. He called her an uncharismatic challenger. But no, the bottom line, it was monumental. It was decisive, and I want to rub it in his face a little bit more, because he should have had the humility to say, I was blinded by my own TDS, not they were blinded by their own racism, misogyny, xenophobia. All right, the chart that we see going around, which indicated massive chicanery, at least prima facie evidence of chicanery in 2020, which shows that roughly the baseline for the Democrats had been 65 million over the last decade. It was actually 69 million when Obama won in 2008, went up to 65 in 2012. Hillary Clinton got about 65 million in 2012. Biden got 81 million
How?
in 2020, allegedly, and then Kamala got about 70 million. That number has since been changed. This chart was sort of outdated because by the looks of the initial one that was circulating before all the numbers were in, it looked like the Republicans had gotten less than they got in 2020, which would have led to some people concluding, well, both parties partook in some liberties with mail-in ballots. Can we see the next chart? Because the next one now shows where it basically ended up at. And you will notice the inorganic spike in 2020 for the Democrats.
That's insane.
And the organic continued rise under Trump into 2024. Monumental, decisive. So decisive, we call it a landslide, or some people call it a mandate. And I believe, and my argument now is that this is a mandate to overhaul the system, but it starts with releasing the January 6 prisoners, political prisoners who were persecuted, prosecuted, had their lives destroyed. I don't know how many of them actually took their own lives as a result of this malicious persecution.
I there was a mother that reached out to me that her son.
I want to say it's double digits. It's close.
It's up there.
It's up there, and it's horrendous, and it's part and parcel of the purpose of the persecution. So there's been a movement going around now saying, pardon the Jan 6ers, but to make it politically palatable, only pardon the nonviolent ones. I've been in touch with Jake Lang. He's one of the, quote, violent Jan 6ers who's been locked up now. It's going on 4 years. By his own admission, he was on my channel. We had a talk, and he assaulted police officers. His argument is that it was self-defense, that they were actually stomping to death Roseanne Boylan right in front of him, and he was doing what anyone would do when attacked by the police. Set all that aside. The movement was to pardon the nonviolent Jan 6ers, and I have had something of an evolution where I say this now is a mandate to pardon all of the Jan 6ers because they were all victims of, if it wasn't just outright malicious prosecution, unequal application of the law. They didn't get fair trials. They didn't get fair evidentiary hearings. They didn't get fair disclosure. They were tried in D.C., where it went 96 or 94% to Kamala. And I think we can bring these up because we got some people who are on board with this. Anthony Sabatini, Joshua Lysak. They're just picking a few from the internet.
Pardon them all.
Pardon them all.
Full and complete pardon.
Nobody's going to, don't put together a commission to say, well, who do we think was.
Just get them all out.
Get them all out. If they had done it properly from day one, they would have gotten the violent ones and given them a punishment that fit the crime. Some of these guys got years for pushing a fence barricade into a cop. And then the Molotov cocktail lawyers out of New York who Molotov cocktailed the police car, I don't think they saw any, maybe they might have seen a year. They got a plea deal. Some of the BLMers, I think they're getting paid, let alone not.
They got paid and they got bailed out by celebrities. All those people.
Kamala Harris bailed them out.
Kamala Harris.
So the conclusion to this is that this landslide of the most monumental, world-breaking political comeback is a mandate to pardon all the January 6ers. And for anybody who says even the violent ones, I say you're going to have to swallow that pill if you don't like it because they should have been treated fairly, not beneficially, fairly from the beginning. The punishment should have fit the crime. It didn't. It's too late to undo it. Pardon them all.
What is this? I'm
gonna get you guys in trouble.
Okay.
Do you guys think it's gonna happen?
Do we think it's gonna happen? I think yes.
What percentage? Like 1 to 10. How sure are you?
1 to 10. 10 meaning Trump's gonna do it.
Trump gonna 100% do it. 1 is never gonna happen.
7, yes.
Well, the question is he going to pardon all or start with some of the easy cases?
Is he gonna pardon all of them?
It's 50-50, which is why I think we should build a bit of a pressure campaign because the people this is a revolt against the corruption that went after Trump. Some people are going to say, well, Trump was convicted, therefore he must be guilty. You can't really go and parse out what would have happened had he got a fair trial under these bogus charges that should have never been brought. You can't do that with all the Jan 6ers.
Where are you at for the non-violent ones?
1,000. Well, that it's 1,000% and that he will.
Yeah,
it's 1,000%.
You talking about like grandmothers that was just there with a flag? And mind you, because they thought that they were cheated, and just looking at those charts and looking at all the stuff that happened, there was cheating. They did cheat.
Vinny, that's your logic. But do you trust Trump to like?
If he doesn't, it will be a betrayal of the populist movement that elected him.
And so those people were there for him. Those people were there for him. And then, he said they'd be peaceful and stuff. So a lot of the majority of them were, unless they were getting rubber bullet and their asses whooped by these cops. And mind you, let's break down all the Nancy Pelosi denying the National Guard and Stephen's son, the chief of Capitol Police, getting fired because he was telling the truth. It was all bull. It's all a sham.
He already said he was going to pardon the nonviolent ones in a campaign trail promise a couple months ago.
I don't
He
believe
said it was time to free the political prisoners. Is I believe in this tweet, Viva, that
Wanna
you
bet
have.
lunch?
Sam Culper used
Wanna
that
bet-
exact.
I'm gonna go with Connor. I'll bet you lunch.
I'm gonna go not even a limb here. I'm gonna go on a branch, all right?
Go on a branch.
But I don't think we're gonna see anyone released before year 2 of his presidency.
I think I think in year 1 for sure.
think
We're,
year one?
we're betting lunch.
All right,
You guys
lunch
are
it is.
witnessing
What do you
Lunch in
think?
in 1 year he starts releasing people from January 6th.
Yeah.
Okay.
After year 1, we're gonna.
The one thing that I'm banking on with this is that the Trump campaign and I would call them surrogates, but like the populist voices that Trump has been listening to have been vocal, and Trump has been listening to them. And it's not in a bad way. He's susceptible of public opinion. He's susceptible of being influenced by the voices of the people who got together to get him elected in the biggest landslide ever. And he should listen to this because they were there for him. They were abused because of him by the police, and they received wildly unfair treatment from beginning to end. And there's only one way to really resolve it right now without leaving anybody out, and that's blanket
I
pardons.
agree 100%, but I'm so black-pilled. Like, it will take me a while to get my joy back to the level it was before.
Well, then hopefully this will be the first domino that pushes over all the other
Put
ones.
me in a really good mood, very good mood.
Rob, what do you think?
I'm
Since you were there.
Well, that's why I'm trying not to comment. My mother and I, and we would have been back there had this gone awry in 2020.
Yeah.
Wow.
What do you think, Amy? Does he release them or no?
I
In 1 year, does he release any of them?
Yeah, I think
Okay.
yeah, no, maybe not all of them, but I think that he
Oh,
will.
but like a
I
lot
think that
of
there's going to be a lot of pressure
This
applied.
is a yes or no question. Within the first year of his presidency, is he gonna release anyone?
Yes. Amy,
100%.
Amy,
Yes.
we'll go to lunch with him.
I'd bet on it.
Amy, you can have half my lunch.
Rob, what do you think?
Will he release him in the next
Any
year?
of them.
Yeah.
Any of
Within
them.
the first year of his presidency.
Not all of them, but someone.
Okay. All right.
At least one.
At least one? Okay.
All right, and get rid of the records. All right, so if you like this clip, click right here. And if you want to see more like it, click right here. Stay angry, Patriots.